Good morning, everybody. I'm Don Stewart, and this is a very special edition of Breaking News. Today is Wednesday, the 8th day of January, 2025. It's about 4:30 in the morning here in Pacific Standard Time on the West Coast. This special edition of Breaking News is due to the horrific fires here in Southern California. And we just want to report on what's going on here where we're at. We're about 40 miles inland from the Palisades fire. Actually, there's three major fires burning right now. And according to the last official word yesterday, 3,000 acres had burned there. Closer to us in Pasadena, above that altitude, another 1,000 acres had burned there. And it's just terrible. The entire LA County and where we live is under a red flag warning with extreme fire watch. Strong winds have been blowing, the strongest since 2011, and makes for a very, very uneasy situation. Now, we're pretty much okay here. We do live in a cul-de-sac next to the last house on the street, and there's a canyon there below us, and there's, in fact, a fire road, and the house next to us right behind it. They've never seen a fire here since the houses were built in the 1980s, and so we should be fine. But there's always a possibility of something there because there's a lot of fuel there. There's a lot of, vegetation in that, so we keep our eyes open and peeled. About 150 houses in the area, and like many places like Palisades, one road in, one road out. So you just have to be on guard here. Now, if you've ever been in a fire, you know exactly how scary it can be. I was in a motel fire in the 1970s in Milwaukee, second floor of a two-story Motel 6. It was quite an experience. There's three responses you can have when a fire takes place. You can freeze, you can react, or you can respond. I reacted. I should have responded. I was on the second floor and I ran down the stairs right away when the smoke came into the room. And I didn't cross my mind that the fire might have been started on the first floor, which it was. It was on the second floor. And it was quite a harrowing experience, being there. It was interesting how people all worked together. The place was packed. It was in wintertime with snow on the ground and people were breaking windows on the second floor. I just happened to be right by the stairs, so I ran down and made it out. But unfortunately, I'd swallowed a lot of smoke there. My respiratory system for the next 30 years paid the price for it. Wherever every year or so, I'd get this really bad experience there in the chest. Fortunately, it's kind of gone away in the last 20 years or so, 15 years, but it's really, something you don't expect. So these poor people yesterday, if you've been watching the video, they're leaving their homes. About 100 cars were abandoned there, people running for their lives. As far as we can tell, there's not been any deaths right now, but the damage there is horrific. Could be thousands of homes that are destroyed. We really, really don't know. But it's a very dicey situation. We're right in the middle also too of the red flag warning area where it's, be high winds this morning until about noon today, and then it'll calm down this afternoon. Then, of course, tonight and tomorrow night they're going to pick up a bit again. But it's one of these situations where we're really have to be vigilant, and that's what we're being here. Um, my good friend Dave Sweet, he's the pastor of Calvary Chapel of Paradise in Northern California. He's been there for about 50 years, and you may recall the Campfire in 2018. Fifth worst in the history of the United States, caused 85 with fatalities, caused 85 fatalities, displaced more than 50,000 people, destroyed 18,000 structures, caused an estimated $16.5 billion in damage. And again, like the fifth worst in fatalities in the history of the United States, it burned for 17 days. And his experience was really freaky. He saw it begin. He lived next door to an ex-fire chief who decided just the week before to clean all the brush away from his house, and Dave did too. And their two houses were the only ones on the street that survived. But he talks about the harrowing experience of driving down the Skyway there in Paradise for about 4 or 5 hours trying to get away from the fire, seeing people abandon cars, running for their lives. And you can't even imagine how horrible something like this is until you've been there. And so it's one of those things that you don't expect to happen, but it does happen. And again, how you're going to react. One of the things that impressed me, like I said, in the fire I was in, is how everybody started helping one another. We had people breaking windows in the second floor there and jumping out. Fortunately, there were snowbanks there they could jump into. Uh, some of us were there helping to break the falls of some people because they were scared to death because the fire actually had started in the second floor. Some fool had been refused, a room there. So he decided to put a lit cigarette in the trash can on the second floor, and it just exploded basically with the vacuum there. And it was really terrible. In fact, there was one of the guys that was there was a firefighter from Chicago. He said, "I've been a firefighter for 5 years. I've never seen a fire this toxic." And they said if it happened an hour later, it was 10 p.m. at night, they'd been counting bodies. Unfortunately, we all survived. We all went to the hospital and that. But like I said, it's really one of these experiences that you don't want to live on, don't want to live in if you can possibly help it. So this gonna again, it's a continuing story here. There are stories in the news, but not anything earth-shattering right now. Although Tom Hughes sent me a story last night how Israel now is on the highest alert because of a story from IRIB-TV in Iran. In the coming hours, they said the world will witness unusual scenes and developments. So the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, has ordered to a high state of alert by the chief of the general staff due to concerns Iran may launch a surprise military action against Israel. If something happens, we will report it. Right now, it's just a threat. But we just wanted to tell you where we're at right now and all this. We do appreciate your prayers. Like I said, we should be fine here, but you never know. And so it's a very dicey situation. The wind is blowing like I've never seen it blow here in Southern California, like sustained 20-mile-an-hour winds. We had gusts up to 40, 50 miles an hour. We don't usually see it where we're at. Other places, the gusts are even much, much higher. So anyway, that's where we're at this morning. We wanted to bring you an update here. And as circumstances allow and warrant, we'll try and come back later today, Lord willing, and any stories in the news that need to be talked about, we'll deal with that. And then, of course, please pray for the people and all these. There's again three major fire zones, and people's houses are just being destroyed. Their lives are being, totally turned upside down. And it's one of those situations that is just not, it's just horrible. But it does happen. We live in a fallen world and things like this happen, natural disasters. And so we try and make the best of it. And this is, again, where we're at right now. So we wanted to do this early this morning, this breaking news to give you an idea of what's going on. Like I said, so far we're fine here. But things could change. Hopefully, it won't. But it's dicey for the people here in Southern Cal. So please pray for all of us. All right, I'm Don Stewart. Thanks for watching. Hopefully, we'll be back to you later with another edition of Breaking News and kind of give you the latest of what's going on. And if anything monumental, of course, happens in our world, we'll be there to talk about it. Until then, as always, may the Lord richly, richly bless.